How do you balance the respect for an unbelievably qualified doctor and specialist who you have consulted to versus the power of the mind that you need to be able to live with this stuff on a daily basis?
Yeah, great. It can be a hard one if you choose it to be. And I think we can put all of our autonomy over there with the doctor, and they're brilliant and they've studied for so many years. And you're right in saying, you're left with your own thoughts and your daily life that, that's not taken into account when you see a specialist every 6 months or a year. So I think it's important to be able to take on what they say and ask as many questions as you possibly can. How will this affect my daily life? What should I avoid? What should I, continue doing or maybe look into a little bit more? But I think having your own autonomy and drive and commitment to, what is the lifestyle that you want? How is it that you want to live, and not waiting for appointment to appointment to be told either good news or bad news. Because, in between then, you're not living. And we do sometimes hand over, I still do it. So if I go to the doctor, I'm like, okay, please tell me, rather than actually going, okay, well, what can I do for myself? And a lot of times you have to wait for a doctor, they're there for a reason and they do great work. But I think having some kind of practice, daily practice for sure. I mean, the basics of things are, having a really solid morning and evening routine, making sure that your lifestyle works for you, what you eat, what you do, but also planning and taking responsibility around that. That's the biggest thing that we can do. Biggest thing. I've seen people make the tiniest changes and 2 months later, completely different life. So I think balancing out your own influence and power and putting that together with your doctor's advice is so important.
Yeah, that's really well said. When I was in Boston, I had this really damaging shoulder injury, and I went and saw a doctor, and he gave me this whole bunch of, these painkillers, which made me horrifically depressed. And I just wish I had have known about stories like yours and Janine Shepherd's and so many other stories out there of resilience. I mean, it's huge. I mean, at the end of the day, you're the one who has the power to overcome so many different things, and what people have been able to achieve through history, the lessons of resilience and strength out there and freedom. Even just looking up adaptive athletes on Instagram or TikTok will give you this mosaic of so many different inspirational people. It's great just to see that, the hope and the opportunity, rather than reducing yourself to what you might be capable of achieving based on someone else's belief.
Totally true. And you know what? Thank you for saying that, because I've had clients that come to me and they'll say, oh, my neurologist said this to me. And they have been like a deer in headlights since, because they'll say, oh, you'll never be able to do that again. And it's like, who in the hell said that to you? And I've asked for neurologist phone numbers from my clients. I'm like, give me that phone number. They have no right to say that to you. So I've a healthy frustration with, the medical world, and I love them dearly, and they, they've done great things for me. But there's a lot of time that bedside manner and some words, they could all do with a little bit, and not everyone, but could do with, some neurolinguistic programming, and what they're saying and what people are left with can be really, really damaging or really, really healthy. And when somebody is in a very vulnerable state, you're like Velcro. You're really sticky to whatever your doctor says. One sentence could literally change the trajectory. You say it in the beginning of your podcast, it can change the trajectory of someone's life. And a doctor holds immense power. So I'm always very, very conscious of, somebody making a great relationship with a neurologist and actually being able to say, is that your personal opinion or is that a medical opinion? And to be able to kind of go, hang on, actually, should you be saying that to me? And actually, does that have merit?
Balancing practical steps of hope versus managing expectations, and of course they're in difficult situations as well. But I think that's great what you said there.